Leprechauns, lunatics, and the lobotomized. Welcome to your weekly dose of horror news and fun. This is episode 21 of TerrorVision Horror Podcast. I'm your host, Dan McGuinness, and joining me as always is my co-host, Jennifer, the Dream Warrior Strand. Together we are two people who love horror and feel the burn of our obsolete Blockbuster memberships. You can catch us weekly on all major podcasting services and on the YouTube. But I want to know, Jennifer, have you had a good week this week?
Has it ended? I don't know. I've been so freaking busy this last week that it's the week trailed into the weekend and now I'm in a new week again.
That's usually how weeks work.
But there's usually like a period of arsehole horizontality where I'm just like sitting and eating snacks and watching a movie and being lazy. Instead, this week I was like all steam ahead, like work was pretty busy. Then I burned straight into Record Store Day Drop 2. So I went down there, picked up a bunch, spent more than I should have, but came away with some pretty good vinyl.
So was it Record Store Day this weekend?
Yeah, so because of COVID, they've had to space it out over 3 different weekends. So I think the next one is October 26th.
Do they still get all the special records come in? Like, you know how, for the day?
Yep, definitely. Yeah. So there's been a few like delays and some cancellations just because getting them over here is a fucking nightmare. But yeah, like I was able to pick up the X-Files one and I picked up the From Beyond soundtrack, which is also really cool.
Oh, really? It affected you that much?
I do love a soundtrack.
You want a sexy, elderly doctor man vision in your head when you're listening to it.
Well, let's be fair. I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking of Bubba in his orange tidy whities.
Oh, who wouldn't?
Well, that's right.
That will make anyone erection hit under the table if they're sitting at a table and thinking about that. That likely scenario.
Aside from that, there is a toy fair coming up next Monday, public holiday. So I will be there selling some cool horror toys. So I've actually got to pull my finger out of my ass and, actually do something about it.
Will they pull your finger out of your ass? Isn't it just to say pull my finger out? It doesn't have to be.
No, let's be real. It's sitting up my ass because I've not done anything.
I am also going to be at that toy fair. So where is that? We might as well tell people just in case.
It's at Marden. So it's at the Marden
Rec Centre or something?
The school, I think it is. All the details I can actually, and I will post it on the Facebook and the Instagram because Dan, you'll be there as Greenlight and I'll be there as part of my trash retailer that is trash. But I'll be selling some really cool stuff. So
excellent.
Yeah. How was your week?
What did I do?
Let's talk about you.
Well, this was a on week for me for Hack the Dino, the video game web show I do. So we did that on Friday, recorded a new episode with a new look show, with a new branding, a new designing, and blah, 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 $5 cash kind of stuff. And
I love it.
Yeah, I did all that. And then I decided to sit down, my Switch hadn't had much love. So I sat down and I thought, what's out on Switch? And I listened to a lot of podcasts and everyone's raving about this game called Hades. And
Liz is playing that at the moment.
Yeah, and I went into it. So I think that the team who made it have always made really good games that I've really like Braid and stuff like that. I think they made Braid. I can't remember. Anyway, I got into that and it's very cool. And I think what sets it apart, it's like a roguelite one where you procedurally generated dungeons. The voice acting in it is really good. And so it's all like Olympus gods and stuff like that talking, and they're all like very matter of fact talking, if you know what I mean. Like some are really pretentious and that, and your main character is just like, okay, yeah, whatever, like just a young person, but he's like the son of he's like the son of Hades or whatever his name is, and you're trying to get out of hell, and you keep dying and coming back, but every time you always feel like you're advancing, and you always it's not true. Roguelike, like you don't start with nothing every time. You actually, you gain stuff each time, and every run you actually make stronger, and so it's really satisfying. And I also bought at the same time Mario 3D All Stars with Mario, because I never played any of the 3 games on it, like Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy. And I got to say, the first 2 are garbage. Like I played them for.
I only know the first one. Like that's and you threw the penguins off the cliff. That's the only thing I remember.
Yeah. Well, I never experienced it. Like, so I've got no nostalgic, attachment to these games at all. So to me,
Mhm.
just coming in, I was like, no. And then I went to Mario Sunshine, which looks great, except the controls are fucking garbage. And
Oh
like,
no.
there's no option to invert, so I can't play it because I play with
Oh
inverted up
no.
and down. And it's
Yep.
constantly got it's all about like aiming this nozzle to fire water, and it's the wrong way to me, so I just can't play it. And then I went to
Mm.
Galaxy, and it's like the best game. Like Mario Galaxy, I was like, man, I'm fine. I would have paid $80 just to play this game. Like it's such a,
Very
I'd
interesting.
never played it before, and it's so innovative. It's got lots of great ideas.
Yeah.
It's
See,
great.
I don't like. I remember my younger brother having it on the 64, like the Mario 64 one, and like I'm not huge into video games, so but I get excited that everyone else is excited. So
Yeah,
like I'm excited that you're excited.
I'm excited for
Um,
one of them.
well, one's better than none, especially given that it's like a what 69.90 cost.
Oh man, I paid like $80 or something.
What? Well, clearly you didn't
Well,
come visit me.
I just got it on the Switch store. So I was like,
Okay.
well, I was at home, I was looking after a baby. I just wanted to buy something. I also
Oh
bought a
yeah.
bike light this week, but that's super unhorror.
You bought a what?
A bike light?
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a nightlight. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. What kind?
And I got fucked
Okay.
over as well because I bought it, and then like as soon as I bought it, like it went back to the website's homepage, and it just had in big letters, "Put this code in for free shipping." I'm like, I've just fucking bought something. Put that in the bit
One of
where
a
I could have got free shipping, and I was so pissed off. Fuck you,
yeah.
pushy.com.au. Anyhow, let's get on with our week because no one wants to hear about our drollness of being fucking consumers. So let's move on
And
to
boring.
homework. So every week, me and Jen set ourselves 3 horror movies to watch. No, not 3, 2. 2 horror movies to watch because we're short.
It was 3, but we're super busy people with adult things to do.
Indeed. And we watch them and then review them next week together. So we have our rating system. Do you want to go over the rating system, Jen?
Yeah, so we've got an A, which is awesome, everybody should watch. A B, beer and chicken wings group movie. F is for fun and dumb. C is classic that's worth a watch. G is good for its time but is not held up. We've got a J, which is a Jen special. A D, which is a Dan special. Which I feel that they're not really like too different, but
No,
we
they
also
are.
have a.
They are definitely
are?
different, yeah.
Okay. We have a W for a whatever. We also have S, which is shit, avoid. And thank you, Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation, because we have the double F, the fucking fucked.
Man, we mentioned Texas Chainsaw Next Generation so much, it's going to like,
Right?
have a spike resurgence because it'll come up in like, in algorithms that everyone's saying this word. Can then come up.
Well, that's really fine, and then everyone will start reporting on like, oh, let's just give it all a chance, and then you'll see it like start popping up as, is it really as bad as everyone says it is?
And the
or
answer
was?
is yes.
The answer is yes.
Yes, it is. It's terrible. It's like getting your eyes poked out with very small dicks that resemble pins. So our first movie we watched this week was The Re-Animator from 1985, directed by Stuart Gordon. I don't know what I was saying.
Yes.
Dude who did From
Sorry.
Beyond and Dolls.
Yep.
We all know Dolls. Still love the poster of Dolls. The one with the dolls pulling its eyes out and like holding them on the side. Screenplay by Dennis Paoli? Is that? I thought that was a dip. And he's done, his screenplay is also From Beyond and Dagon, the old H.P. Lovecraft one.
Yeah, so most of what Dennis Paoli does writing-wise is basically like H.P. Lovecraft stories. He adapts them to the screen. So
he's just like, man, that is my favorite racist. I just want to really make his films. And then yes, we're starring Jeffrey Combs, who is also from Beyond. Barbara Crampton, who is also from Beyond. from. And then Bruce Abbott and David Gale, who are not from Beyond.
They are not. No.
Got a budget of $900,000, and then the box office it made $200 million. So this is considered when you
It made $2 million.
Yeah, was that? Yeah.
2 million.
2 mil. What did I say?
Yeah, 200.
Oh yeah, not 200
That's
million.
that's pretty ambitious, but yeah.
It's like Avengers, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Whoa. Oh man.
Oh,
Again.
let's start.
Do the
So
synopsis.
Herbert West has a good head on his shoulders and another on his desk. Best tagline. It's a great tagline. I love it. A dedicated student at a medical college and his girlfriend become involved in a bizarre experiment centering around the reanimation of dead tissue when an odd new student arrives on campus.
That's it. That is pretty accurate.
It's pretty accurate. So this film does have some slight homages to the Die Hard movie.
Is that on purpose, you reckon?
It is on purpose because the doctor at the opening, so the opening sequence where the doctor's like basically like squishing his face until his eyes pop out, which is amazing. His name is Dr. Hans Gruber.
Yeah, I reckon I noticed that the first time, and I was just like, might be a coincidence. But yeah, so the opening of this film, let's just run through this. So the opening, it starts off like, before even the credits come up, you know, open at like this, like research, like college or whatever, and yeah, you got Herbert West there as the main character, and he's like, his professor's on the ground screaming, and all their faculty come in and go, "What have you done to him? Like, you're gonna kill him?" And he goes, "I didn't kill him. I gave him life." And then, of course, the doctor stands up, and his eyes pop out of his head and explode everywhere. And I'm like, this is a good start.
Beautiful.
I'm impressed with this.
Yep.
Did
Solid
you like that
start.
starting?
I love that starting.
I thought
it's so good.
Hans Gruber's eyes pop out of his head. So that really sets the scene that this is going to be some sort of like, you know, there's no real monster in this per se, if you know what I mean. Cut to the credits, which I fucking loved these credits.
Yep.
Did you like them?
This is probably one of my all-time favorite title sequences. Just the super bright neon colors of all these like bones and different sort of medical things. And then of course it's like it's paying homage, paying homage or just straight up stealing. Don't know. But it borrows heavily from Bernard Herrmann's Psycho theme.
Yeah. Oh, I've written here in my notes is chaotic orchestra.
Yeah, it's really cool. Very heavy on the woodwinds.
It had this like dun 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 dun, you know, full on meow, you know, that kind of chaotic, like nerve-wracking orchestra thing. But yeah, as I was saying, the visuals on the screen, so it's just a black screen, and then they've got obviously medical drawings, but they've just like colorized them so they're all just like one bright color, like fluoro pink or fluoro red. And then they've just kind of animated them in a really stylish way, like, and to the music and moving around jaggedly. And I was just like, this is sick. Like, and it looked like it was, you know, such high quality as well. Like, it just looked like it was vector art, even though it wasn't. But straight away, I was like, yep, cool.
Yeah. It sets the tone. So, like, you've got this crazy eye-popping scene, but then it jumps straight into that, and you're just like, okay, we're in for a treat.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
You've obviously got straight away. You know, there's like the special effects people in this film that know what they're doing, and then there's stylistic art people that know what they're doing. So you're like, all right, cool. Still could lose itself, but let's keep going.
Yep.
And then we're introduced to the main character, Dr. Herbert West, who's a young, glasses-wearing, up-and-coming, fringe science doctor, if you would.
Yes, so he specializes in death.
But he's a student still. So
he is still a student.
All set in a kind of a hospital school. Is that what it is?
Yeah, a teaching hospital. Yes. But he's so Jeffrey Combs plays Herbert West, and he's a lovable bastard.
He's great.
He's kind of the best way. Like being introduced to him in the first 10 minutes of this film, I'm like, I think I don't like you, but also I kind of secretly like you.
Yeah.
You're a bastard, but you know your shit.
Yeah, like he is so driven by his work that nothing will stop him from doing experiments, like, you know, people's lives are at stake and stuff, but he is all about the science. He's all about just getting it done, and he is quite. He's
He's very witty.
He's so cocky and he's so smart and smug that
Yes.
you kind of like him because everyone just talks down to him straight away because he's young and he's out doctoring really, out doctors, and they hate that, so they all try to like talk him down and say how shitty he is, but he always just shows off that he's the best, and I love that, and it really comes into the scene where he's like in a lecture, and as the lecturer is talking, whenever the lecturer says something, he says something and he breaks the pencil that he's holding, which puts everyone off, and then he's just staring the teacher like dead in the eye and just reaches into his pocket and just grabs out another pencil like he was ready to break pencils.
Yeah. I think I commented that breaking pencils in class is the smart man's flicking spitwads.
Exactly. And then he breaks the next pencil as well, as if like, it's just like, and then the doctor goes like, because obviously he makes the doctor angry, the teacher, and he's like, I severely think you should bring a pen next time. And that's his diss.
And then it's just like, class dismissed, and then he just like slams his books down and just starts like going off at him like, you are a terrible doctor, this is bullshit, you're not teaching these people anything.
Yeah, right in front of all the students, like pretty much the most insulting thing you could do to like a professional.
Yep. Oh gosh.
Love him. He and from there, we also forgot to mention that obviously he's been kicked out of his where did he come from? It was like Denmark or somewhere, or
is it Germany? I want to say it's German because Gruber.
Yeah, he's been kicked out of the former school for obviously doing experiments to make people explode. I don't know why he'd be allowed into this school after that, but sure, why not?
You just fudge some paperwork. There's no internet back then, so it's not like you if you're going to call up Germany, that's going to cost you a bunch of money. We don't have that kind of money.
That is true.
But, yeah,
you probably could back in those days. Just like kind of not mention that, and you're like, because he would have been a genius doctor. He's proven that.
Just forge the documents, you'd be fine. Not a problem.
Actually, I think they mentioned somewhere in the film that they get him into the school because he is such a bright student. So they want to kind of, you want to have really good students at your school coming out of it and stuff like that. But yeah. So then we're introduced to the secondary character, which is Dr. Dan.
Dr. Dan.
I can't remember his last name. I just called him Dan the whole time, which is my name. So I found that quite easy to remember.
Dan Kane.
Oh, Dan Kane. So he's like an up-and-coming student doctor as well, and wants to save lives, and but he's also sleeping with the administrator's daughter. Which,
yes, played by sexy Barbara Crampton.
Yes, who are that? Both from Beyond. From Beyond. And then Hubert, somehow, in hilarious circumstances, Herbert West, becomes their roommate. So that's kind of weird. Oh.
Yeah, so he kind of rocks up to the house. They're in the midst of having pre-coital conversation, and he just sort of rocks up and talking about looking for the room to rent, and she's really sort of not having it.
She's off it. She doesn't like him. She's got bad vibes.
No. Yeah, she does have bad vibes. So then, of course, he rents the room to him, not a problem. And he's just like, oh, you've got a basement? I love basements, because that doesn't sort of cement you as being a creepy bastard.
And he's like, under one condition, that no one is allowed in my room. Like, am I...
I would have thought that would be a condition of living. Like, I've lived with people before. That's pretty much a given.
Yeah, you don't go into someone's room.
Don't go into someone's room. No.
But, and so they own a cat, and push comes to shove. Suddenly they realise, hey, where's the cat?
Where's Rufus?
Is it Rufus? Was that the name of the cat?
Yes, Rufus. I'd like to point out, though, that before we get to the cat bit, so we've already gotten a pretty good sort of, look at Dr. Carl, who is, actually becomes the main bad guy in this. And he's, he's having dinner with Barbara Crampton's dad, and he's, kind of telling her what to do.
Yeah, it's because he studies...
He wants to fuck her.
It's because he studies the brain. So Dr. Carl is the teacher that we were talking about earlier. He's the guy,
Yes.
the older guy who's he is an expert on the brain. So I think that scene was supposed to imply because he studies the brain, he understands psychologically how to manipulate people.
Yeah, I
Because
do
he's
get that.
Yeah, he starts doing that with the administrator as well. He's manipulating him, kind of, to say like, "Oh, you should do that." But yeah, he has a massive crush on the administrator's daughter, who is like way too young for him. Like this is an old
Oh
dude.
yeah,
He gave me
yeah.
massive vibes of. He reminded me of the Doctor from Hellraiser 2. Remember him?
Okay.
So
Yes.
in Hellraiser 2, there's also another brain surgery guy who's like pretty much looks the same and acts the same, and he's like, yeah, they're just basically the same character. Like, and they look, everything about them is the same. But I was getting vibes from him.
Oh, he reminds me of Lurch without the makeup.
But yeah,
Sorry, back to the cat
no.
finding.
But we've also right, but straight away, just to really hit home. Straight away, you get to see the main girl character's boobs.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
Barbara Crampton was very well known for 80s boobs in the 80s.
Yeah, I reckon she got her kid off in From Beyond as well, didn't she?
She did, yes. I think she's gotten her kid off in a lot of films.
Every film.
That she's been
In her contract?
Look, she's probably chucked it in there. She's got a very lovely body, and hell, if you feel comfortable doing that, do it.
Yeah, right. I bet she wasn't feeling comfortable from some of these scenes later on that we're going to talk about.
Well, yes, let us get to that. Very interesting little tidbits, yes.
So first up, they've lost the cat. Where's the cat? Where's Rufus? They find Rufus dead, smashed up, in Dr. Herbert's room, in his mini bar fridge.
Yep.
Accompanied by some glowing liquid, green liquid, which I didn't know how they did that until I read your notes, that it's actually glow stick liquid. And I'm like, of course it's glow stick liquid. Because I was like, how did they get that liquid to glow?
Yeah, so it's the first time, so the glow stick's used as the reagent, which is what it's called. So it's the first time a glow stick has ever been used and seen on screen.
Do you reckon people wouldn't have known what that was or how it got done? Like, they just wouldn't go, how did they get this glowing green liquid? Because to me, being the dummy, I just thought, they must have just had like a light on the bottom of the jar. And then you see them get it out in the syringe and look, and I'm like, And I'm like, why didn't I just think glow stick liquid? It's so obvious.
Yeah. Like, that's really cool though. That's like a smart freaking move. Like, I would never have thought to have done something like that.
Anyhow,
but
they confront Herbert. Why is there a fucking dead cat in your fridge? Our dead cat in your fridge? And he's like, I can explain. I found it like that. And they're like, like, did he find it like that? You never get to the bottom of it. I think he did find it.
It's never sort of said whether he kills the cat or not.
I don't think he did, because if he did kill the cat, he wouldn't have mangled it. He would have wanted a good specimen.
Yeah, that's true.
So I reckon,
he did say that it got stuck in the garbage. So it had obviously gotten into the garbage can had fallen on it.
No, he said its head got stuck in a jar and suffocated. Right.
That's right. Which does not explain why it's all mangled. But I just love the line that he's like, what was I meant to do? Leave a note? Cat dead? Details later?
Yeah, right.
Great. There's a lot of really good one-liners in this film.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's heaps of funny good one-liners. And the film itself looks good. Like, it's not too shittily filmed, if you know what I mean. It's in that era of those horror films that look good. Like, it's not like the second film that we're going to talk about. Like, it looks like it's filmed on using a tin can and string. But but then it cuts to later that night, and you hear this, and there's this, and the main characters get up, like Dan and her name Alex.
It's just Dan.
Is it Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah, Alex. Dan and Alex get up and they're, what the fuck's that noise?
It's Megan.
Is it Megan?
It's Megan. It is Megan.
Oh.
Where the hell did I get Alex from?
Because I've written it in my notes. And then oh no, it's just him. He gets up and goes down to the basement, and there's this hilarious scene of Herbert running around the basement with a cat attached to his back, just meowing like this hilarious like fake cat. And he's like, and there's this whole scene of them running, and then it jumps off, and the whole scene of them like trying to kill this cat with clubs and stuff, and like and eventually
like this cat attack scene is absolutely hilarious because it is that puppet just attached to his back, and he's just like reacting to a puppet, and then there's even that sound as he grabs it and throws it against the wall.
Yeah,
and there's a little bit of the blood splatter on the wall as well.
There's like a brain like a chunk on the wall. I was like, oh god, that's a bit much.
They do that a bit actually. Anytime anything's thrown against the wall, there's usually little like debris chunks of brains and blood, which I love.
Yeah, I like that.
But then it's also like then there's this poor little cat just laying there dead, and you're like, oh, poor cat.
When it was on his back, it reminded me of the cat from like the other week from Tales from the Dark Side. That's
exactly what I thought about.
The cat Dick Death. But he was lucky it got in his back and not in his face. Otherwise, he would have been chunking cat balls again.
That's right. No one likes to chug cat balls.
No one. I haven't met one man who wants that, or lady. But so yeah, they smash the cat again, and then the dude's like, "What the fuck, dude?" And he goes, "That's the dead cat." And he shows him, like, he doesn't believe him. And he goes, "Do you agree that it's dead now?" And like lifts it up and plonks it onto the table, like comically. And he goes, and then he brings it back to life. And he says that line, like, "Don't expect it to tango. It's got a broken back." Like, yeah. And you have this horrible scene of this cat half coming back to life, going, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is fucked." As a cat lover, I was like, "Oh, this is hard," because there's a lot of people out there who don't like cats, so they would have thought that's fine.
Yeah. I don't like watching any animal get hurt. Like even I don't like reptiles, but I still don't like watching them get hurt.
You don't like reptiles? What the fuck's reptiles done?
I don't like reptiles.
You ever been bitten by a snake?
Fuck no. I've never been close enough. I like cry and run away.
I used to have a snake and it bit me all the time.
No, it's like reptiles are like, people have spider phobias. I don't like snakes. I don't like lizards. I do not like reptiles. Like, I am as scared of them as people are of spiders.
So so the cat's making this horrible noise, and he's like, "Why is it making that noise?" And he just Herbert West goes, "Birth is always painful." And I was just like, "Oh god."
The way he delivers that line as well, it's just so deadpan. It's like, birth is always painful.
Yeah, as if like, duh.
Like, you're a doctor. You're meant to know this shit.
Yeah. So then he's like, fuck, you can bring the dead back to life. And he, there's a scene of him like convincing, like, dude, you got to help me. And this is the point in the film where I'm like, don't.
Yeah.
Like, there is no, after this point, Dan's life goes to shit, hey. This dude had, he didn't have a bad life. He was a student, he had a girlfriend, it was going okay. And Herbert West comes in and just fucks his life up, eh? Like, so hard. Like, he just can't win. And so he goes to, the next morning doesn't he go to like the doctor, the minister, and he goes, dude, Herbert West can bring shit back to life. And he's just like, you're fucked. You're out. You're out. You're out of the bloody, you're not allowed to see my daughter anymore, and you're fired from medical school. And he's like, oh. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, you should have said nothing, mate. You just left.
Yeah. Yeah. Should have just don't even get involved. Turn the other cheek. Just ignore it.
So, what do they do? Like, what do you do when you're both kicked out of medical school? You don't have your girlfriend anymore. I know what you do. You devise a stupid plan to go into the morgue of the hospital and reanimate a corpse.
But not just any corpse. They choose the buffest fucking dude in the morgue to reanimate.
It's because he was the best subject. He died of a heart failure. He wasn't mangled. He wasn't mushed. It was only like a day old. Needed fresh.
Heart attack because of steroids.
Heart attack, yeah, probably. Anyhow, they reanimate him, and he fucking comes back to life. He's naked. He's fucking flopping his dick everywhere.
We got some reanimated Wang Watch 2020.
Yeah, it's amazing how many dicks are in horror movies, eh?
I saw so many dicks this week.
Oh, dude. Yeah, our next film is like so heavily laden with dick, it's ridiculous. So this guy,
right.
And And of course,
So
like, the administrator comes in and goes, "What the fuck's going on?" And the corpse attacks him, kills him. And then Herbert West comes in with a bone saw and comes in the back of the corpse and out the front, and that looks great. And I'm like, fuck yeah.
So good. And again, it's good to point out that he walks up and again, deadpan. He just goes, "Dan, look out."
Yeah.
Bone saw to the back. It's so well delivered.
Like, brings it up to the side, like, as in, like, here I go. I've done this before.
It's the hero pose. Like, Well, yeah, it just seemed like another day at the office to him. Like, how many aggressive reanimated corpses has he had to fight in his past?
Exactly. Probably hates.
I'm guessing a lot.
He probably does it, like, on his off days, just fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, there was a scene in this where, like, the administrator's, like, he's wrestling the naked corpse and the corpse bites his fingers off. But then when they lay him on the bed later on, I just look and all his fingers are just there.
Well, they might grow back.
Well, it's true. He is an administrator and we don't know the powers of an administrator, do we?
Well, that's true.
Until you've become an administrator, we don't know. Administrators might have Wolverine-like powers.
Yeah, you never know.
I don't think.
You never know.
Yeah, and then at this point, they're like, "Fuck, the administrator's dead." I know. Let's bring him back to life. And at this point, I'm like, "Fuck, Herbert's plans are so bad, eh?"
And in his mind, he's like, "Quick, he hasn't been dead that long. Like, it hasn't been 5 minutes. So there's like a 6 to 12 minute brain death gap."
Yeah.
So
we're never going to get a fresher corpse without killing one ourselves. I mean, you did kill him. Like, you basically did. Him. There's no one else in the room apart from you and other corpses. You're going to be blamed. You basically did kill him. So they bring him back to life, and of course he's brain dead. Kinda. Yes. He's kind of like, madman. And then the Dr. Carl comes in and takes him. They get in fucking trouble. They actually don't get in trouble, which is weird, eh?
Well, no, they don't get into trouble because Dr. Carl is an absolute scumbag.
Yeah, and he takes the administrator and does things with him. Puts him in a padded cell, which is kind of weird that someone would have a padded cell.
That he had a padded cell
in his office. Like, there's no reason for a brain surgeon to have a padded cell. They operate on people. They don't study crazy people.
He is a brain surgeon and he's been working with a laser. So I'm pretty certain that there could have been some hope for the administrator. But then he uses his laser and kind of lobotomizes him and chucks him in the padded room.
Well, he does, yeah, because he discovers Herbert's research and realizes how fucking crazy good this thing is, this reanimator thing, and he wants it for himself. So he rocks up at Herbert's house and goes, "Hey, fuckface, I know what you've done. I'm going to take all your research. And, otherwise I'll fucking tell on you."
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Yeah. But
then, of course, what happens when anyone comes at you and says, "I'm going to, steal your work and become famous and you're going to be nothing"? What do? You decapitate them with a shovel.
And why not? And it looked great.
Why not?
That was that. So the thing I noticed about this film in its violent acts is it never does the cutaway shot and it never skips any moment of the violence. It shows you every step of the violence. Did you realize?
Yes.
So, if they're decapitating a head, it shows, the shovel going into the neck. It shows the pull off of the head. It shows it holding the head up, putting the head down. There is no, left your imagination gore here. And all their gore scenes are top notch. They have just gone, yeah, this is my vision. I want to, do these, super realistic. Some of them are a bit dodgy, but most of them super realistic, gore scenes with decapitation and a headless man for half the film, and it looks stunning.
It does, and it's all practical. The special effects department went through 24 gallons, which is about 110 liters of fake blood.
Nice, yeah.
Doing this film.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. So there'll be a decapitated corpse head, and it will constantly, the stump will be bleeding and oozing out. When he puts what's his name, Dr. Carl's head in a tray, and because they must have there must have been so many sets in this thing where people are hiding under desks and stuff, because
I think the David Gale who played Dr. Carl, he was basically like under a desk or under something
or under a
for
jacket,
like
or
7 hours a day. That at one point I think Jeffrey Combs was like helping him smoke cigarettes and feeding him and doing all this stuff for him because he couldn't get out. Once he was in there, he was sort of stuck in there until they called cut or like
right.
the end of the day.
I hope he was in a
Which is
nice
very fun.
chair, like a nice, like, an ergonomic chair. But I just don't think that he would have been back then because of horror. Watching makings of these older horror films, if they've taught me anything, is that there's no occupational health and safety in any of these
Hell
films.
no, not at all.
So the head in the tray,
No.
this shit looked great. You have to,
So
if you haven't seen this and you like a bit of gore and you're a practical effects enthusiast, this is one of the really great standout practical effects films. And it's backed up with funny, great acting scenes as well. Like, I was never bored in this film, eh?
No.
Except for
so
the
he like
sex
puts you don't like sex scenes.
No.
So he puts the head in the tray and it falls down and he kind of like just looks at it and then he like tries to sit it up again and it falls and he's then just sitting there looking around his desk and just picks up one of those like receipt things like that you put all
like
your
a
receipts
receipt
on.
spike.
Yeah, and just like puts it in the tray and then just shoves the head right on top of it so it's sitting up. Oh, it's just such a small and such a great scene. I love it so much.
I know. And then, of course, but he realizes, so he injects Dr. Carl's head and brings the head back to life. And then he realizes, I could inject it in the heart as well. And then he realizes at that point, which they didn't really get into, which is what I thought, is that what his research was wrong, is he was bringing the brain back to life, but not the heart back to life. Because that's why it didn't work for the doctor, for the administrator, because his body was dead, but his brain was alive. And that they mentioned that earlier. Yeah. So he brought the body back to life and the head, and that made him coherent. So he wasn't like, fucked up. But unfortunately, somehow the head can control the body. So the head knocks out Herbert and fucks off with all his research. In a double whammy, somehow, I can't remember, steals, kidnaps, what's her name? What is her name?
Yes, Megan,
the lady who he wants to have sex with.
Barbara Crampton, yes.
Yep, totally strips her down completely naked. Stark is naked as well, muff and everything.
Fully nude, like she all kinds of fully nude.
And she is fully nude for the whole end half of this film. And there's so many scenes where they pick her up because she's unconscious. And I stole a quick glance down between her legs, and you can see her vajuju.
You can, yes. Like, it's not quite as in your face as Sharon Stone, but it's there.
No,
yeah,
it's
definitely.
It's not supposed to be. But then there's the scene, of course, where you got a decapitated head, a body holding its head, sucking on her boobs while she's awake and pinned to a table, and then goes down to do cunnilingus on her. So, like, just about to, tongue's just about to hit clit, and then fucking in strolls in Herbert with fucking a line. I can't remember what the line was, but it was another great Herbert West line.
Oh, he's got so many good lines. It's good to note that David Gale, his wife divorced him shortly after this film was made. And it was basically said that the lady business scene is what sealed the deal for her. He's like, I was just acting, I didn't like it. And she's like, well, shit, you could have fooled me, fuck off, I want a divorce.
Yeah, right. She got jealous of acting.
He got jealous, of acting.
Yeah, but then again, like, he's an old man, and she was like, fucking prime real estate for back then.
She's Barbara Crampton,
and his face was about, 10 centimeters away from a vajuju.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yes.
Full face shot. Yeah. I don't know.
Yep.
Yep. And then, so, Herbert West comes in and fucking Dan comes in to save the day. Dan, for some ungodly reason, is dressed exactly like Bruce Willis in Die Hard.
He is. He's got his John McClane going on.
Okay, he's got the singlet, he's got the pants, and was he wearing shoes?
I believe he was.
That ruins it a bit, but
he
still,
shouldn't be, but
he's still just in the singlet for no real reason. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Dr. Carl goes, says a keyword, and for some reason, all the corpses in the room come alive, and they're all under his control because he's learnt a way to lobotomize them and for them to understand him and only him. And so he's got an army of naked men and women.
Yep. And women.
So then we've got a full, just like chaotic. This film suddenly just goes crazy at the end, eh?
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Like everyone, all kinds of naked and aggressive and trying to fight people, and just at one point I think there's like a corpse got crushed, like the head got crushed and then thrown against a wall. And
no, that was Dr. Carl's.
Oh, that was Dr. Carl's.
Not Dr. This is not Dr. Carl from Triple J either.
No.
Yeah. So
no.
all these crazies go crazy, but then one of them is the girl's dad, and he kind of like breaks the craziness, and he's a crazy dude onto the other naked crazy dudes. There's naked crazy dudes going everywhere. There's gore happening. There's like shit going everywhere. There's people fighting. Yeah, and then like one of the crazy dudes gets like Dr. Carl's head and crushes it, and just but he football pegs it a overarm, tosses it against the wall, and it smashes down. And then Herbert West just pulls out 2 giant syringes and just yells out, "Overdose!" and slams it into the corpse, the decapitated corpse of Dr. Carl, which makes him just explode, kinda, and then his organs explode out everywhere, and his organs are sentient, and they grab Dr. West, and he's getting strangled, like a la Brain Dead style, if you remember the gizzards in that, which is clearly where Brain Dead got it from, and like that's all happening, and then there's shit going everywhere, and it was just so like the gore just kept going up and up and up and up and up in this film, and I was just like, Jesus fuck.
Yeah. Like, this film is it's really good from start to finish, but at one point it just goes, you know what? Fuck it, let's go full throttle.
They're like, fuck.
And then
they're like, shit, we've still got 80 litres of blood left.
What are we going to do with it? Oh.
Yeah, and 1 ton of latex left. Let's fucking just go fucking ham. Yeah, they are. And they do it good. Like, it's great. And it makes sense, kind of. Like, and, I don't think Dr. West doesn't get out, does he?
No. And I was, like, really bummed out about that. I was like, oh, I kind of like him.
But there's a second one, Bride of Re-Animator, that he's in, and the third one where he's in as well, and he's quite old, which was done recently. And when I say recently, I mean, like, in the 2000s.
Yes. So he does clear, like, I thought he died, but then I was, like, quickly reminded that, oh, wait, no, he doesn't die, because there's, like, 3 films.
Yeah, well, he probably did die in this, but then they just used a ham reason to bring him back in the... Or they just ignore that scene, because you know horror movies sometimes do that? They're just like, no, he didn't die. But I saw him die. No, you didn't.
No, I think you are mistaken, sir.
You're mistaken. That was actually birth. Not death.
Because, I haven't seen Bride of Re-Animator, and I haven't seen Beyond Re-Animator. I do have them because I bought a cool little 3 triple pack DVD.
Ooh.
But no, I haven't seen them. I'll get there.
I reckon that might be worth a look in, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so. Most definitely.
All right, so then, Dan and girl get away. I can't remember her name, sorry. Ever.
Her name's Megan.
Megan?
Megan.
Meg. Dan and Meg get away, except, one crazy reanimated naked corpse jumps out and strangles Megan, and she dies.
Oh, no.
She's dead.
Megan! Meg!
And then the end scene, of course, is Dan taking the reanimator liquid and injecting it into her head, and then cut to black.
And screams.
Except for not black, it actually just keeps... The only thing it keeps on screen is the glowing reanimator liquid, and you see it going down into it, and then it cuts to a scream. I'm like, good ending. Good one.
That was a great ending. Yeah.
I sat there, I gave it a little clap, a golf clap at the end, sitting in my beanbag.
Well done. Yeah, that's very clever.
And I'm like, well done, Re-Animator. Well done. You got it. Now, what did you give this?
So I gave this a C. It is a classic, and everyone should watch it.
Yeah, a classic, and I'm going to change it. Classic, well worth a watch. Not just, it's a well worth a watch. If you're a horror fan that likes, great characters, good lines, and then like bursting amounts of practical effects, this is your film. There's no like real. Because there are bad guys. It's not. There's no monsters in this. It's all science.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I like
science is the bad guy.
Science.
So because we watched, Re-Animator came first. So we had Re-Animator in 1985, and then 1986 we had From Beyond, and we did watch From Beyond not too long ago. So what one did you like better?
I like Re-Animator better.
Definitely. Yeah. No, I'm in agreement. Both films were really good. They had their own sort of style and the soundtrack.
There is a lot of in both of them. There's a lot of unnecessary sexualness in it, which I think
that's just the 80s.
Yeah, I think it might be as well. Like just 80s horror. It's like you just had to put the boobs in because you just wanted to get that audience member. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I like seeing naked people. But,
just not naked people doing things.
Yeah. But it had more dicks in it than it had boobs, so
it's true. I'm pretty certain Wes Craven said something one time about with a horror film, it should leave women scared and horny. So the idea was to like rile up the teenagers as they're watching these films, and then because you're like scared and you've got the adrenaline pumping from what's happening on screen, and then of course all the naked sexiness, you kind of leave feeling scared and horny.
Yeah, the endorphins of sexy, horny. But you've also just watched people get probably raped and killed. Horny. Clearly, it shows in the 80s that men really understood women.
Yeah, well, that's a nice segue into Street Trash.
Oh, yeah. Let's go on to our next film, Street Trash from 1987. Now, this always intrigued me. This always had the cover that I loved with the melting blue face on the front.
Yeah.
And I never got to see it until this week.
Yeah.
Director James N. Murrow? And
Murrow.
Murrow. Yeah. And then, what is that? Like the screenplay's name? Roy Frumkus? Frumkus? There is no information about this film.
No, so all the actors are just, I'm pretty certain they were just hobos off the street. Haven't really seen anyone. There is not a lot of information for this film.
Can't believe we just talked about Re-Animator for 50 minutes. We could do one film a week, couldn't we?
We could.
But
you get a good film, we can talk a lot about shit.
That's true. Well, here we have a bad film, and there's still heaps to talk about, eh?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not going to say it's a bad film. Like, I've got it. It's good with a very, 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 very large butt to it.
Yeah. Do you do its synopsis?
Do its synopsis.
Even if it's got one.
Oh, it does. Things in New York are about to go down the toilet.
Great.
This whole film. A group of hobos begin melting into multicolored piles of goo after drinking 60-year-old liquor. At the same time, the psychotic Vietnam War vet who rules the hobo camp snaps and begins killing at random. Two brothers set out to stop the liquor and the killer.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
So that sums this movie up. There is the horrorness to it has no relevance to the story. Did you notice that?
I really wouldn't call. I mean, clearly this is like a body melt film. So this is where it sits. It is body melt, but I would probably put it more into like the exploitation. Almost,
yeah, it's definitely had an exploitation. This film, we should say straight away, this film was like so un-PC.
Yeah.
It's so problematic, eh?
Yeah, look, I mean, we will get into it more as we discuss the film and what happens.
Okay.
But
so, I'm going to run through this faster than I ran through Re-Animator, because, So, the first bit of dialogue in the film is a fart.
Yep.
Voice of an ass and...
Name any other movie that starts with a fart. I'll wait.
Yeah.
None.
I can't think of any.
No.
Yeah, dude, a guy who owns a shop finds some 60-year-old liquor called Viper, and apparently that when you drink it, you fucking melt. That's the premise of that part of the movie. The other premise of the movie is a Vietnam vet named Bronson is king of the hobos, and he's crazy. He's having Nam flashbacks, and the cops want to kill him, and that is the premise. The other premise of the movie. That's the only two things that are happening.
But this is the thing. There is a lot going on in this film. There are a lot of storylines going on in this film. And the whole thing is sort of centered around this liquor and this viper, but there is no information on where it came from.
Yeah,
there is very little of it actually being used.
Yeah.
And then there's this whole other story about this other fucking guy, then this other fucking guy, and then some other fucking guy.
Yeah, there's like two brothers story. Then there's like a lady who runs a junkyard with a big fat boss's storyline. There's a cop storyline. There's Bronson's storyline. And none of them matter. They're so insignificant to the gore and the violence, which is the only reason you're watching this film, hey? You only want to see, like... And don't get me wrong, they go really good with their melting scenes. Their melting scenes are fucking amazing.
This is a classic.
Yeah. But it's just overshadowed by so much shit. If anyone can't visualize what the King of the Bums looks like, just visualize Jack Galifianakis.
Who the fuck's Jack Galifianakis?
What? Zach Galifianakis.
Oh, Zach Yes.
Did I say Jack? I always say that. Zach. I wrote the wrong word. Zach Galifianakis. You know, from the Hangover films and stuff like that, and Between Two Ferns. It's basically a fitter version of him. Exactly like him. And it's set in all the hobos. So everyone apart from most of the characters are hobos. So that's why the alcohol is affluent in it, because they're all, you know, bums trying to... But yeah, man, like, I don't know about...
So the main hipster, like the main hobo, he's kind of got like a little hobo heart of gold, but also you kind of want to slap him. I was like playing this game, I'm like, homeless hipster or barista, because his whole aesthetic could be either one. Yeah,
he looks like a hipster. He looked like a barista. He looked like he could have been anything. Like, he just wasn't convincing enough. A lot of the other dudes looked like homeless people. I actually read.
Yeah.
There was a lot of at the start they had a lot of like, you know, amputees and stuff in there as well. Did you notice? Like where they just tried real hard.
So this film it was shot in 1986, released in 1987, but the whole film has like more of a 70s vibe to it. Like the whole aesthetic and feel to it. Just sort of, I didn't feel like I was watching a late 80s film. It just seemed very 70s.
Yeah. Because it also like it's how it treats minority groups is also like, you know, why it seems so dated. Like, I reckon there's no forward thinking in this. Like, you know, they call everyone all the worst names that you could. Like they call Asian people gross things. They call black people bad things. They insinuate really horrible things. They're friggin' sexist towards women. Women get raped in this. They have sex and they get raped, and then they get killed, then they get raped again.
Yeah, the guy fucked a corpse.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I've watched this film before. It is.
You chose it, and you'd watched it before.
No. Like I chose this film. I chose this film because what I love about this film is how well they did all the melt scenes.
Oh yeah, wait, let's talk about them. Like, so the first one is the guy drinks it on the toilet. And he's and like, you know, blue and green and red slime starts to burst out of all his orifices, out the bottom of his shoe, you know, his pants, which I think is a really good effect. They showed that a couple of times, that like, you know, the leaking out of all the clothes and stuff. I was like, good idea.
Like toe popped at one point as well, like
like he went to grab the toilet, you know, flusher, and his arm just fell apart, and his hand was left on the flusher, and he eventually just melts into the whole toilet, and he's all blue and. And like, and like, so they've gone to ham, and every person kind of, when they drink this Viper liquid, for one reason or another that they drink it, they kind of are a different color, they melt, and they die in a different way. And the guy the giant fat guy has it, and he just keeps on getting bigger and bigger, and he just explodes, and the explode look wicked.
It does, yeah. It's just like they've used a gas cylinder in some kind of balloon, and that fucking balloon bursts. It's also good to point out, though, as well, like, if the goo gets on you, it burns you, and then you start to melt from that. So there's a scene where there's, like, a homeless guy, he's, like, climbed up onto a balcony, and he's sitting there, making fun of a cat, and then he drinks it and basically starts to melt, and of course it's like dripping down onto the sidewalk, and a guy looks up and just like gets hit in the face with this bright yellow goo, and his face just starts melting.
Yeah.
It's glorious.
Yeah, that's great. And then you notice as well, like when the first toilet guy dies, it fully does like the Evil Dead camera technique. Did you notice?
I did. That was in my notes.
Yeah,
Very...
like the point of view, but there's no point of view that it's coming from, which is weird.
No.
But like he goes along and through doors and around corners and all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, you guys are just want to do that. Like, there's no reason for that to be in there. But yeah.
Yeah. No, there's no reason. There's like this junkyard. So the main kind of everything that is happening in this huge junkyard. And it's just like, what the fuck kind of junkyard is this? Because within this junkyard, there's this huge like tire fort in which these two kids kind of live in. And then, of course, off of that, there's this whole other like giant fort where this hobo king is living with his hobo wife. Having his...
With his hobo soldiers.
With his hobo soldiers. Having all these flashbacks and just being absolutely crazy and disgusting.
Just killing people and then getting their bones and sharpening them into shivs.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then this is all happening. So this whole film was set in the day as well, which is great. Like, so you can see all the gore. But like, but there's someone that runs this junkyard who like talks to all the hobos and he's like, get out of my house, there's no hobos allowed in here, yet there's a whole community of them living in there.
Yeah.
In like a fortress.
He's not doing a damn thing about it. Yeah.
Doesn't make
sense. He's not doing a damn thing about it. He's just like, fucking hobos, get out of my junkyard, you fucking street trash. Yeah, and I'm gonna go fuck a corpse.
Yeah, giant and then a lady, like, there's this other storyline of like a bellhop kid as well, that like...
I loved this storyline. I loved the interaction between those two people. It was glorious.
It was weird. Like, there was like 6 little storylines happening here, all inconsequential basically to each other, all inconsequential to the melting, the body melt part of it. It just so happens that every now and then people drink this liquid, but it doesn't really push the story along at all.
It doesn't. No,
it doesn't, like, at the end, there is a bit where it kind of comes in as a weapon. They use it for a couple of things, but like...
He wants to get rid of some of the... So the main hobo, the nice one, not the crazy Vietnam vet, he's... yes, the barista. He's trying to sort of get rid of some of the less lovely hobos, and he's like, "Oh, don't steal my alcohol. Like, come on, you can kick me in the ass. Just don't take my Viper." And the guy's like, "Haha, I take your fucking Viper and I kick you in the ass at the same time." And then drinks it, and then just, he's like, bleh, bleh, and just starts like melting and like against the wall.
Yeah, that was a good...
and then it's just like spitting out at everywhere. It's like, oh, this is beautiful. This is a beautiful scene. I love it.
Yeah, this film, like, you would just want to... If they just did a cut which was just all the melting and none of the story, great film.
Yes.
But then, its shining moment really comes through where you've got Bronson, the Vietnam vet guy. He's standing there doing something, threatening the barista, and suddenly this stream of water hits the side of his face, and you see it, and it's a dick. You see this dick coming into the side of the shot. This hobo didn't realize, and he's having a piss, and he didn't realize he was pissing through a car, and he hits Bronson in the face. And so Bronson grabs a dick and cuts it off. Then there is this hugely long Betty Hill style chase sequence of everyone throwing this dick to each other, with this guy trying to run after his dick to this wacky music with full close-up shots of the dick flying around, this is the most amount of dick ever in a film.
They play keep away with his dick.
That's it, keep away. A hot potato.
They did. I think there were like 3 different penises that they had made for this. So there was like a little one and a big one, and then an even bigger one, which was used for all like the close-up flying. So like, you imagine if you've ever seen the Jackass movies, and I think it was Jackass 3D, they decided to shoot a dildo through the air.
Yeah.
For some reason. So it's kind of like that, but with this giant penis and this poor guy who, I'm sorry, I don't have a penis. I don't know what it's like to be kicked in the balls, but this guy was not seeming like he was in that much pain from having his dick cut off.
It was so good. It made the film worthwhile. If you, like I said, don't watch this film, but go on YouTube and watch all the melting and the dick scene. I'm sure you just call it dick cut, body melt dick, or penis, or something like that. It will come up on YouTube. It'll be hilarious.
More than likely.
How good is the quote from the actor that played Bronson? Have you seen this quote?
Oh yes. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, nor did I ever understand who Bronson was. I did scene by scene, not even knowing what the movie was about. I didn't read the script until 3 months after I was wrapped. I still don't know who Bronson was.
Yeah, because the guy who was playing Bronson got fired on the day of shooting, and he came in. He got notified he had 12 hours to come in and do the role, and he didn't even read the script or anything. He was just doing it. He had no idea, and I don't know. I mean, it didn't seem like he had any less idea than anyone else in the movie. Did you find?
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone knew what the fuck was happening throughout this film. This film was originally a short film, still done by James Murrow, and then he's obviously taken it and adapted it into a feature-length film.
He's like, you know what? I think this film could really benefit with a dick chasing scene.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like, what's going to make any film better? Keep away dicks.
Yeah,
I
keep
don't
away
know.
dicks. Keep away.
Saying, he's sitting there talking to his mum. He's come up from the basement wearing a tie. He's like, "Mum, I need some cash for a film." She's like, "Okay, you can pitch it to me in a couple of words, just in a sentence." He's like, "Keep away dicks." She's like, "I'm in."
Dan, where's my checkbook? Give this man money.
Done. Sold.
But yeah, this film is a mess, but it's a weird mess. But then there is just but then the death of Bronson was amazing.
I don't even remember how fucking Bronson dies.
They knock a gas cylinder off and they fire a torpedo at his chest, which explodes his chest out. So his head pops up. And then off, and then his arms are still there, but his whole chest cavity is shot out, and it looks amazing. His head lands on the ground, and then a lady, the lady who runs the junkyard steps over his corpse head, and his corpse head looks up and gets a shot of her panties, and he smiles because that's all he's ever wanted, and then he dies.
Bless this film.
But it looked great. There was so much meat and chunks in it, and there was so much needless shit in this film.
There is a lot of needless shit. So I think for me, which is really hard to explain, this film is highly problematic. This film is extraordinarily racist, misogynistic, and homophobic. I absolutely detested all the rape. At one point, Liz tried watching it with me, and she was tolerating it, but when they got to that sex scene that then turned into they stole the woman and were going to gang rape her.
They did. They gang raped her to death.
They did, and then her body washed up on the riverbed, and then the junkyard guy finds her, and then he has his way with it.
Yeah,
I don't want to say, if you just ignore all of this, the film's great. The film is a mess. The storyline is a mess. Everything about it is a mess. But what this film has going for it, the only thing this film has going for it, is the incredible melt scenes, the use of the practical effects and everything like that.
And slow motion shots of severed penises flying through the air.
I'm so sorry. I should have led with that. But first of all, it's the dicks flying through the air, then it's all the effects.
Yes, true. What did you give this film?
So, this one is a bit hard. So, I have given it a Gen Special, but I have given it a however. Do not watch this. If you want to see what this film is, and you have issues with a lot of things, please do not watch this film. go onto YouTube and just find a cut of all of the cool melt moments. Otherwise, just give it a miss.
I gave it a Jen as well, which is this. Where we get our little music.
What does that say about me?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that says about you, Jen.
Yeah, I do not condone the behaviors and opinions of that represented in the film in any way, shape, or form. I just like the melt scenes; they're really cool.
All right, let's just go on with horror news. Every week, me and Jen take you through the horror news that you need to know about. Welcome to horror news. Jen, what's
yeah,
Eagle Bow. What's your
okay?
What's the first story?
All right, so we are back on Screenwatch 2020 as always. So this week, some new behind-the-scenes images were revealed. One of them, I did post one of the best ones up on our social media, so you can go check that out on our Instagram at TerrorVision Pod. It's also on our Facebook. Otherwise, 3 crew members have tested positive for COVID-19, but filming will resume Monday.
Oops, I accidentally put a massive scream on.
Do you know what? I actually heard that.
Did you hear it through my things?
I did.
It was way loud, and I apologise to everyone.
Nah, don't apologise. It's fine. So it's Deadline have released a statement saying that 3 members of the crew had already tested positive, but the production isn't being shut down. So this kind of is similar to what's happened on the set of The Batman. But sort of where Robert Pattinson has tested positive to COVID. So this is these people have previously had it, but they're obviously okay, and filming will resume on Monday.
Well, who had it? Who got it?
Just some crew members.
I think none of the main actors got it.
None of the main actors have it. Don't you worry.
I don't know if Courtney Cox could handle COVID.
I don't think so. No. We do wish them a speedy recovery. Get your shit together, because I need Scream 5.
All right, we need it. What is the next story? Because I mean, that's just a quickie. Would you count? Just offhand, because I was going to choose this week for us to watch, which I didn't. Is District 9? Do you count District 9 as a horror film?
I think District 9 is more of a sci-fi, but also it does have that body horror sort of element to it. So,
and it doesn't matter.
Yep. Okay.
I digress.
You digress. I love digressing. So HBO are working on a hip-hop vampire series called Thirst.
A hip-hop vampire series. So it's set in modern-day hip-hop?
Yes, it is. It is set in modern day. So Thirst tells the story of a brilliant but cocky Atlanta rapper who thinks he's found his way to stardom when he links up with hip-hop's hottest group. But he has no idea that they are hiding a terrifying secret. They're a family of vampires with roots going back centuries. So it's basically Beyonce. Beyonce is a vampire. Let's get on board with that.
Beyonce? Why would
Pretty certain she's a vampire. Like, look at her.
Yeah, she might be an immortal. It doesn't kind of make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about this one, eh? Like, the picture that accompanies this story on the iHorror.com, it looks like The Lost Boys. Like, is it set in the 80s?
I mean, I think it is set to, like, a current day. So this is going to be launching on HBO Max. The series comes from creator Leah Benavides.
Leah Benavides, yeah, right. I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah.
Leah Benavides Rodriguez. And
Carlito Rodriguez. So it's based on a concept created by Kevin Jordan. Yep.
Who is this person? Is it? I'm gonna look this person up. Oh, it's a lady.
Yeah. Yeah.
I suppose Leah should have given it away.
I mean, it should have.
It's her last name's right. It's not Robert Rodriguez's daughter, is it? Not Spy Kid. No, it's not.
Yeah, so interesting little concept there. I personally just have no strong feelings one way or another. I'm not really into the rap music, and vampires are not really. It's never a go-to film for me anymore.
She's done stuff like Empire. Do you remember that TV show? Writer on Empire. She's based writer on a whole bunch of it. Yeah, just like kind of cool TV shows that I don't watch.
Yeah. Yeah, me neither. I'm uncool. I'm not cool.
This is good. I always like vampire ones, depending on what they're done. Like I don't want sparkly Twilight vampires or anything, but
no,
I'm always down for good vampire films. I mean, I love The Only Lovers Left Alive. I think that's
great film.
Beautiful, beautiful vampire film. And what are some other vampire films that I like? Oh, Dusk Till Dawn, obviously.
And you love The Lost Boys.
I love The Lost Boys. Maybe I do like vampires.
Yeah.
But I mean,
that's all I have to say about that. Like it could be really good. We've not seen a hip hop vampire movie before.
No,
I don't think. So I don't know. Could be good.
I'm down. I'm gonna definitely watch this because I like Atlanta rapper. Is that there's that Childish Gambino or that Donald Glover show? Is that called Atlanta?
I think so.
Or is it Atlantia?
I have no idea. I've not watched it.
That's
like I
that's
say,
all about
I'm
the
not
hip hop
cool.
scene as well. So maybe it's a city where a lot of like hip hop like artists come from and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not massively into hip hop. My I've got a limited amount of knowledge about my hip hop. So I love Childish Gambino. I like Chance the Rapper. I like Tyler the Creator and stuff like that. But as far as it goes.
They're all words that I know, and I will nod my head at.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's one. I know Gambino.
Yeah,
everything
else. You don't. He's the best. Anyhow, next story.
Anyway. All right. So,
man, we're smashing through these stories.
Well, it's let's be honest. It's been a bit of a slow news week, so we have been chatting for a little while. Netflix reveals a new CG animated series, Resident Evil: Infinite Darkness. So, Dan, I know that you aren't necessarily a fan of the animated Resident Evil films.
No, I've actually got the trailer sound playing right now.
Oh.
No, I'm not really a fan of them. I am. No. I'm going to turn this down.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember when one of them came up, I was like, "Ooh, new Resident Evil film that somehow got past me," and I'm like, "What? Got it? Watch." I'm like, "CG," because to me it's just like a cutscene without the fun of playing the game.
Yeah,
because
I get that.
I would prefer to. I do like the Resident Evil films, but I don't know, like. Because I found that the CG ones follow the games, where the live action ones follow their own thread universe or whatever. But maybe I'll give it a watch. Like I just feel like I have to, like when I'm watching the CG films for video games, that I should play it. That I'm gonna like pick up my controller. I'm just waiting to play it the whole time.
Maybe if you like held your controller in your hand, like while you were watching it, you'd feel like, oh, this is quite a long cutscene, but it's really interesting. It might make it more enjoyable for you.
But the thing is, it still just looks like the trailer for it. It just looks like a cutscene, like it actually does. Like it doesn't look. If anything, it doesn't look as good as the cutscenes from Resident Evil. So I'm like, oh no,
that's savage. I'll post it up on our Facebook and let's get some conversation happening about that one.
Where is it set? What one? Where are we, what are we talking here? Who's the characters? We've got Claire Redfield
and Leon Kennedy.
Well, they're two of my faves.
Yes,
all my favorites.
Yes.
They're basically the ones that were in the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yeah, so there's not a lot of information yet. It was a very big surprise that they, in addition to the upcoming live action series, that we will be getting this CG series. So yes, as my understanding is, it's just those two. I don't know. There's not a lot of information as of yet. But the
the trailer. I mean, not much really happens in the trailer. You've got like Claire Redfield coming up to a house that looks like a farmhouse. She's at the house. She's looking around with her torch. She's like, this looks like a game.
This is just you being mad that you're watching like your brother play a game or watching your partner play a game.
Yeah, like a
you're
bat
mad that
scares her.
you're not playing.
Bat scares her and she treads on like a vial. She's like, what's vials on the ground? What are these vials? Her torchlight's following the vials along. Where could these vials lead? Oh my God. It leads to a title. And then it just cuts to it as a quick shot of a zombie. And then Leon in a suit, looking sharp as fuck. Looks good. And then the Netflix logo at the end.
Yeah. Well,
it is on Netflix, so it'll be okay. Yeah. The other one's on Netflix as well, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. 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 But yeah.
I'll give it a go. If it's on Netflix, why wouldn't I watch it?
That's right, it's free. You're paying for a service. You should embrace that service as much as you can.
Maybe I'll make that one of my choosers picks for the films when it comes up.
Right, why not? We can. It's horror, it's video games, it's two things right up your alley.
I know. But yeah. So,
yeah.
Anyway, that's the quick news. I was worried we were going to go too long. But the news was pretty light this week. So we've got to work out. I'm going to tell you what you're watching next week and what the listeners are watching next week if they would like to do their homework. Do your bloody homework. Do your homework, guys.
Do your fucking homework.
You're not coming out of that room. Doing your homework. I'll smash your face off. Yeah. I've chosen. Sorry, I've totally digressed. I've chosen for us to watch The Fly and the Cronenberg Fly, so not the original Fly, and also A Quiet Place from 2018. Fantastic. So The Fly and A Quiet Place.
It's funny because not to be confused with a very loud and open place.
Yeah, don't go to a loud open place, especially in this film.
Yeah.
Or it could be one film called The Fly in a Quiet Place.
Yeah. No, it could be.
It's not that at all.
Yeah, it surprises me that it's taken us this long to get to The Fly, to be honest.
The truth is, I think I watched it pretty recently, and that's why I kind of avoided it. But it's been long enough now that I can get back into a bit of Brundlefly.
Yes, well, can't we all? I've got some very lovely pictures prepared.
Got some, getting it all ready. All right. Take us out, Jen.
All right. So you've been listening to TerrorVision Horror Podcast with Dan and Jennifer. We are a podcast on all streaming services, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio. Basically, anywhere all the good podcasts are found. We are also available on YouTube. Please follow, thumbs up, like, comment, anything that just help us sort of just go that little bit extra distance.
Go on there. If you like us, give us a star rating or give us a comment. A comment's always good as well. Or just follow us. Or just, stream $1,000 into my bank account.
Or mine. I could definitely do with $1,000. We have an Instagram at TerrorVision Pod. Lots of cool stuff happening over there. We also have Facebook, TerrorVision Horror Podcast. You can email us at terrorvisionpod@gmail.com. Let us know what you want us to watch, anything you'd like to discuss, any kind of questions you have.
Anything like that.
Do it. Do it.
And
Consume, obey.
You can also check out, which I've already mentioned, this show. You can check out Hack the Dino, which is a video game show that I do with a bunch of other dudes. You can catch us live over on Twitch every second Friday at 7 p.m. for casual hangs, chats about games, nerdism, and stupidity. It's basically just, an unscripted live show about video games that always goes wrong and is amazing.
I love it.
It is great fun. And if you don't catch it live on Twitch, you can always catch it later on YouTube. So just search for Hack the Dino or Hack the Dino Gaming on any of those platforms, and you'll find it. And so, with that said, with all everything been and done, until next week, may all your dreams be nightmares.